Americans are nicer than Canadians. Airplane etiquette survey reports. Get screwed, Canada. You have nothing now. Why do Americans freak out over us Canadians having bagged milk? Who the hell bags milk? Who the hell brings guns into a Walmart? I thought I got a ticket, but then I realized I live in Canada. Nice car. Canadian bathroom graffiti. Your mum is a nice lady. Your father is proud of you. Canada has a $200,000 rubber duck that just floats around for no reason. How babies are born in Canada. Hey, that's not how they're born. That's just how we find them, in our maple syrup buckets. No one knows how the hell they're born. Canadian street gangs, hot as hell. Swear words. The graffiti in my hometown is getting out of control. Only in Canada do the buses apologize for the accident. Canadian flag made out of real maple leaves and snow. That's so hardcore, Canada. Canada looks really broken. You okay, Canada? We are slowly trying to distance ourselves from the US, piece by piece. This moose literally followed me home. What do I do? Only in America. Let's all get along like they do in Canada. Breaking. Canada has unveiled a new design to the Canadian passport. It's too big. The Canadian army be like, have a nice day, smiley face. One day Canada will take over the world. Then you'll all be sorry. Meanwhile in Canada, use the other door. The goose will attack if you go through this door. I just got a wrong number text from a stranger that said, hey, can we use your pool? There's a moose in ours. Welcome to Canada. I've never received such a funny text in my life. I can't breathe. I told them, yes, if you send a picture. And they sent me this. Montreal student protesters baiting riot police with donuts. Canada. Screaming. Please tell me one of the officers with a sense of humor took one. How do Canadians reproduce? We fill people-sized molds with maple syrup and call upon the almighty God to bring life upon their soulless forms. I didn't know this. Rare photo of the arrival of the Russian national hockey team in Canada. Sometimes I get offended by Canadian stereotypes, but then I remember once my friend came back from her vacation to see a robber in her house, and then her family sat him down and they had a lengthy discussion about life choices. Stats Canada reports, not one baby has been named Karen since November 13, 2019. The Purge, Canada. Down the police. If this was another country, we would have to tell you that this coffee may be hot. Good thing this is Canada. Whoa, Canada. Someone needs to turn down their sass level. Sometimes Canadian stereotypes annoy me, but then I remember that a moose walked into a grocery store in British Columbia and had to be lured out with an apple. Canadian riot. This is the last straw. I am a little upset. Canadian police don't use dogs. What, they've trained geese? They just have attack geese? Frickin' Canadians. Even their cops are nice. Don't be fooled. When the sun sets, they transform. Into what? Maple syrup? What? Why is Obama following Doritos Canada? There is a lot to discuss here. It's the American-Canadian border. Vancouver's notorious knife-stealing crow, Canuck, now a father. What's ice hockey? People on knife shoes fighting over the last Oreo, I think. I don't think Canadians have been completely honest about our transportation methods. I am British. I whisper as I purposely spell words with U's. I am American, I shout as I deep fry my freedom. I am Canadian, I say politely, as I ride off on my polar bear. 700 Canadian doctors protest salary raises, say, we are paid too much. POV, you're in Canada paying for your death, and the doctor turns around the iPad for a tip. Let's have a game of Spot the Canadian, shall we? Spotted. Police are looking for a guy who used a snow brush to rob a convenience store in Canada. Does Canada have an army, or do they just send herds of moose after their enemies? We don't have enemies because we don't stir up stuff with other countries like the rest of you. Another prime example of Canada's passive-aggressive beauty. If you're having a bad day, please remember that a man from Canada, known as VaazkL, uses a GPS tracker of his bike rides to draw pictures. In Canada, we play a game called Am I on the Road? Meanwhile in Canada, hit brakes, Oh, hi Moose. We have strict instructions about your snack habits. Do not let Moose lick your car. Well, here's rural Nova in 2 pictures taken a day apart. Bring back my wheelbarrow. Thank you for bringing back my wheelbarrow. Stealing a bike in Canada. Apologies. Stole your bike last night in the final chapter of an export-fueled rampage. Smooth ride though. Great bike choice, fam. 10 out of 10. Would steal again. Meanwhile in Canada, my town is so safe. I accidentally left my keys here all night and nothing happened. Imagine getting jumped by some Canadians and one of them says, I'm so sorry about this. Translation, turn that guy into syrup. Ow, this is gonna need stitches. That'll be $58,000, sir. I can help you in 38 months. Screw you. It was so cold, even our ghost froze. Is this what it's like to get drunk in Canada? Yes. Canada has officially ranked #1 in the world for the best quality of life. It's now no longer illegal to challenge someone to a duel in Canada. Canada. Until proven otherwise, I am declaring myself the creator of the largest Rice Krispie square in Canada. Yes, trespassing. This is a private dock, but you are welcome to sit here and enjoy the view. Canada 100, the Canadian high five. Because in Canada, stitches are free. A hitchhiking robot that relied on the kindness of strangers to travel the world made it successfully across Canada, Germany, and the Netherlands before it was found with its head and arms ripped off. Just 2 weeks into its first American tour. Don't give Canadians money. You don't understand. This stuff is waterproof and it's amazing. Also, if you scratch the clear maple syrup leaves, they smell like maple syrup. Is Canada even real? The whole country is a theme park. Canadian archaeology. What, the people included? How is same-sex marriage viewed where you live? In Canada, we just call it marriage. And since it's not hockey, nobody really cares which team you're playing for. No name is the gem of Canada. Every product is so unbelievably ominous. I really laugh my butt off every time I go shopping. If you die in Canada, do you die in real life? I don't know what dying is like. Can anyone confirm? Saw some vandalism in Canada today. Have a nice day. I really like bothering people outside of Ontario and Quebec by posting pictures of bagged milk because the concept is so foreign to them and they go crazy. It's weird and it's wrong. Canada must feel like they live in an apartment above a meth lab. Do cows moo in different accents? Fun fact, cows have regional accents. Moo, moo, moo. Oi bruv, moo in it. Can I have a brief history of Canada? This will determine if I live there or not. Be as Jurassic as possible. Dinosaurs, yeah, okay. So obviously we start off with a huge asteroid. Boom, Tim Hortons. My mum phoned me today and told me that someone in my hometown had robbed the pharmacy at gunpoint, but the pharmacist started having an anxiety attack, and the robber was so worried about her, they offered to call an ambulance while they were robbing her. Was this in Canada? Of course it was. Canadian cyclist rode 101 kilometers in 7 hours to draw a moose on map in downtown Toronto. Breaks a glass bottle. Who wants to fight? Accidentally cut someone. Oh my god, are you okay? This post is so Canadian. I live in Texas. You're definitely Canadian. Petition to rename the USA. South Canada. What about Alaska? Are we the normal Canada? Canada a bit to the left. 13 years of school, and I'm still not sure if it's grey or grey. It's grey in England and grey in America. Are you kidding me? I've been struggling with this since I was a fetus, and it's literally that easy. What about Canada? Grey. The year is that year. Humanity is on its last string of life. Food is scarce. The last bottle of maple syrup has expired. Hope is dying fast. The Canadians have fallen. The Canadians have fallen. Quick animal fact. Unlike Canadians, Canadian geese are horrible. I'm not saying it's cold outside. I'm just saying my doormat broke. There's a dog school in Canada, so they don't stay home alone. This is a picture taken on the way to school. Blood is thicker than water, but maple syrup is thicker than blood, so technically pancakes are more important than family. A moose raised from baby and used by this Canadian in his logging business. The moose leaves for a few weeks in the spring, but always returns. You can try and make fun of Canada all you want, but we know you're only doing it out of jealousy, because Canada is awesome. How Canadians are hatched. Eggs are laid in early fall and hatch midwinter. The packlings slowly make their way into the forest to forage for syrup amongst the moose. Canada was definitely running out of ideas for street names. The other street, that street, this street, fun game. Refer to Americans as South Canada and watch as Americans lose their mind. Probably because it's the United States of America and not South Canada. That doesn't even sound right. Look, it's working. The Canadian border is seen by Americans. Stop complaining about your life. There are literally people living in Canada. Spring break in the USA. Spring break in Canada. Yo, Canada, quick question. Why is your money see-through? So we can shine a laser pointer through the window and see the value amount projected afar as added protection from forgeries. Yo, USA, why the hell are we still using fragile scraps of linen, like animals, when we could have laser show dollars instead? Canada and Denmark are in territorial dispute over Hans Island. Their war consists of removing the other country's flag, planting theirs, and leaving a bottle of brandy or whiskey behind. North America according to Hollywood. Canada, USA, Mexico. I told a Canadian to end himself. He told me to stop giving medical advice without a license. People in Toronto have started to list the other half of their bed for rent as the housing market has gotten worse. Every American I've talked to on Skype asked about bagged milk so far. What the hell is bagged milk? Guys, it's just milk in a bag. Why is this such a strange concept? Because if you open it, doesn't it go everywhere? How do you even? If your grocery store has an aisle of trapping supplies, you might be in Alaska. Sometimes I find Canadian stereotypes a bit annoying. Then I remember we literally drizzle maple syrup on fresh snow and eat it with a stick. Just a Canadian holding his healthcare bill after going to a doctor. Canadian food chain. What? Man catches fish and bear catches both of them. No! I love the beginning of the introduction of countries at the Olympics because it starts off with the smaller countries, you know, just little groups. But then out of nowhere, they arrive. Canada. We've come for the maple syrup. Priceless. Pete sent this photo in and said, Thunder Bay, Ontario got flooded today, so the missus and I took our canoes out. Health Canada warning reminds public not to eat laundry pods. Not all Canadians are polite. Please do not approach the Canadian geese, as they can become quite aggressive if you get too close. When I first moved to Canada, I showed up to a party and started putting my beer in the fridge. The entire kitchen stopped to stare in wonder and disbelief until someone yelled out, "Don't waste pizza space. This whole country is an icebox." Canadians. Whatever, it's not even that cold. Canada. Ever feel useless? This is a Canadian prison. Canadian street gangs. Friendliest street gang I've seen. Americans. Name every Canadian province. Hockey. Quebec. Maple syrup. Canadian wolves are being airdropped into Michigan to kill moose. Imagine being a moose, thinking you're safe, looking up and seeing a wolf parachuting down towards you and your moose family. Canada wildfires are messing up our beautiful American air. We must invade immediately. Canadian wars. An egregious offense. Canada battles Norway for tallest moose statue. I can't get into the maple syrup. This is horrible. Somebody didn't clean it off right. And now the lid is glued to the bottle. I'm going to start a riot. I feel like this is one of those beautiful moments where someone's URL truly fits their post. Raging Canadian. Canadians warned about car licking moose. Normal moose when they see a car. Canadian moose. Kids work together to create eternal recess. Hashtag community. Sometimes I get really annoyed by Canadian stereotypes, but then this morning we were talking about how warm it was outside, and that we're having such a nice spring. We were not being sarcastic. Canadian eatery puts tiny chairs around the little table that comes inside pizza boxes. My childhood dream has come true. Stop what you're doing. Canadian lynx also do the thing that house cats do, where they stop grooming with their legs stuck in the air. Okay, carry on. Canada fans be like, yes, summer. While you're arguing about pineapple on pizza, Canadians are doing this, and they are getting away with it. Being Canadian is confusing, because you sound American, write like a Brit, and throw in just enough French words to freak everyone out. Montreal, Canada. I have no clue what this means. I laughed way harder than I should have at this. Plain, sugar, waffle, pine. This guy in my class said his brother lost his wallet in Canada, and someone shipped it back with souvenirs. Wait, is this the play? So if I ever go to Canada, I'm just gonna leave a dummy wallet with my address on it? So smart. I can speak Canadian. Moose, moose, syrup, hockey, moose, moose. My grandmother's doing just fine. Thank you for asking. I always think of Canada as the love child of England and France. After they had a drunken one-night stand, and England just let it grow up with its big brother, America, who was like the rebel of the family. This is 100% definitely what happened, and Canada wanted to be exactly like America, but ended up being the nicer one who makes friends with everyone easily. True that. Meanwhile, in Canada, there could never be too many hockey rinks. It's a bit brisk, eh? -40. Bit brisk. It's not bad today, eh? -30. Nice day out. -20. Looks like summer came early. -10. Welcome to Canada. Wild turkey seen chasing Canada employee in Mississauga neighborhood. 77 million people watched Doctor Who today. That's twice the population of Canada. And then some. Is Canada a normal measurement for this sort of thing? I guess. Highlighting cultural differences between Canada and America. Iced cab. Canada. Iced cab. America. Canadians be like, man skates through Tim Hortons drive-thru after nasty winter storm. Just gonna sneak right past you. Said by every Canadian in every single grocery store. Is my wife scared of spiders? Yes. Am I prepared to sleep on the couch for this prank? Also yes. Warning. Huge aggressive spider under cup. Do not pick up until ready to squish it. My English teacher says, a lot. And every time I'm like, haha, I bet he's from Canada. But then I remember, I'm Canadian. I live in Canada. Woman hits moose on way to visit sister, who hit moose. I hope both people and the mooses are okay. Alco hockey, the Canadian variation of beer pong. I feel you, Emma. When I'm 100 years old, when I turn 100 years old, I will be tired of everything and everyone. So I will tell everyone I'm going to Canada, but accidentally go to the Bahamas. I'll live in a tiny hut with my tiny dog. I will order fish tacos when I'm hungry and live my best life with no crap. When you can speak British, Canadian, Australian, and American. Mr. Worldwide, Canadian money. Waterproof, not rip-able. Easily told apart. What? Colorful? American money, not waterproof. Easily ripped. All look the same. Dull. Due to less pollution, we can see Canada from India. You know you're in Canada when hockey games end up like this. Finally, photographic evidence. Of what? A bear pooping? Why do you need evidence of that? Did you not think they pooped? What foreigners are scared of in Canada? What Canadians are scared of in Canada? The Canadians are so nice, stereotype. It's funny, considering their favorite sport is beating the absolute hell out of other people with sticks while knives are strapped to their feet. How to spot someone late for work in Canada in the winter. Dear Australians, Canada has less people than California alone, and we're the second biggest country in the world. Gay rights are fully legal, abortion is legal, no racism or discrimination of any kind is allowed, free healthcare, and we have moose. Come live here, we have lots of space. Sincerely, Canadians. Can Americans come too? No, I'm pretty sure they're talking about maple taffy. You pour maple syrup onto clean ice or snow, and then you roll it up on a stick and eat it. It's really good, but it's sweet as hell, and I can never go past like 2 bites. First we have Canada, that's pretty okay. Yeah, greeting us in French as well, thank. And then we have America. Wow, it's like the whole country is a theme park. 2 helicopters from Canada's tactical... This is just cool. Did you know a grocery store in Canada was unintentionally left unlocked and unattended on a national holiday? The only things taken were 2 packages of cherry tomatoes, for which the person left $5 at the checkout, and the person had actually overpaid. Flying bear kills 2 Canadians in freak accident. Okay, Canadians, what's up? We don't see this often. Often? A flying bear killed 2 people in freak accident, and this isn't the first time you've seen it. What the hell do you guys do in Canada? What happens here, stays here. Come on, guys, stop fighting. Not until he admits I'm cooler. Never, I will never admit that you are cooler. Prove it. Free healthcare. Yeah, but marriage equality. But hand kinder eggs. Well, you're just as bad as Justin Bieber. Gasps. Spits out tea. Why are we involved? Calm down. There is no need to make such false accusations. Ignores and screams at each other. Smashes in through window. Don't get upsetty. I have some spaghetti. I am complete. I like how America is freaking out. Like, same-sex marriage and taxed healthcare. Oh my god, the world will burn. And literally right next to them is their most similar country doing perfect with both of these things. Like it's a no-brainer. God bless Canada. What the hell is that beaver doing? Quietly reveling in its stable economy. In Canada, you don't say, I love you. You say, maple leaf queen ham bacon moose antler which roughly translates into, I'll give you my snow shovel. I think that's beautiful. Hockey maple leaf puck. What the hell did you just say about my mum? Sometimes I like to imagine that Canada and New Zealand are best friends, but no one knows because no one cares, Canada, and no one cares, New Zealand. So they just sit on the sidelines like, we don't need these people anyway. We'll start our own club. Let's make a pillow for we can put a sign on it that says, no Aussie Americans allowed. Let's go. I'm British. I'm invited to the club. Only Canadians have the skill to make their Halloween costumes look good with snowsuits. Maybe she's born with it. Maybe she's Canadian. In Canada, they don't pronounce the Z as Z. They pronounce it as Z, and that is crazy to me. It sounds like they made a typo when they invented it. They do that everywhere in the world. That's not America. We do that here in the UK too. America is weird, man. I love it when America's like, lol, Canada's am I right? And the rest of the world's like, nah bro. It's literally only you that does it different. Other countries have their figure skating set to classical music and soulful movie soundtracks. And then there's Canada, Back in Black, Thunderstruck by AC/DC. A homeless man in Canada turned in the $2,000 he found on the street. When a blogger raises over $5,000 in donations for the man, he turned it down and wanted it donated to charity instead. I was late today and my boss asked me if I value my iced coffee more than I value my job, and I don't know how to tell him that I most definitely do. The candy canes in Canada are shaped like hockey sticks. Is this country even real? My sister is the virus positive, and I've been using it as an excuse to stay at home for when people ask me to come out, but she lives in Canada. Remember when Tim's drive-thru had garbage bins and the wasps would make ordering coffee a little risky? Wasn't going to post this until I got to, wait, am I driving in the lane? Because you don't even know people. This seems like a joke, but it's 100% accurate. We're gonna read a few of these. Free shipping when you spend $50. JK, when you live in Canada, it's actually that amount. Having a disproportionate cheese curds to gravy ratio. Being Canadian is saying, thank you, when someone opens a door for you, and then saying, thanks, when they open the second door for you, but a little quieter. Dear America, emotional support Canadians are on standby. If you have not yet received your emotional support Canadian, one will be a assigned to you shortly. There are nice Americans, there are rude Americans, nice Brits, rude Brits, nice Canadians, then there's Justin Bieber. Every year on Canadian Thanksgiving, we perform a ritual to purge ourselves of rudeness. Bieber absorbs it all. He was never meant to escape. We are sorry. So I'm at a grocery store and a guy looks at me, then turns to his wife and says, "Oh yeah, we need some naan bread." I'm always happy to help. This guy is the Minister of Multiculturalism in Canada. I made the mistake of forgetting my Nintendo Switch at a random hotel room while traveling. Luckily, the hotel staff found it and were kind enough to ship it to me, from Maine to Canada. I was happy to get it back, but look at this note I found inside. "Good day. We saw that your game was still running, so we saved it for you. That way you didn't lose any progress. I also downloaded the new update for you." What the? Wait, this person is too nice. I think this is one of the kindest memes I've ever seen, unironically. I wonder what Canadian man does. Canadian man saves 4 kids with Hummer. Canadian man misses Super Bowl trip. Canadian man caught singing. Canadian man mildly offended. If you want me to do your country next, just drop it in the comments and I'll check it out. I just thought I'd let you know, the reason why I'm doing this video is because I found this random piece of information out. How much does Canada pay to Britain? Each Canadian pays approximately $1.55 to the Crown, totaling to almost $59 million annually. I had no clue. Thanks, Canada.